Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fusion and Futures Academy College Fair. We are really excited to have you participating in this event tonight. We do have some fantastic schools here with us today. Each will have 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but they will be around for the entire session to answer questions. My name is Andy, and I'm going to be your facilitator. And before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists will not be able to see or hear you. You are able to use the Q&A button on your screen, though, to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Now, this is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website for more sessions. And lastly, this presentation is being recorded, and that recording will be available at strivescan.com/fusion. And now I'd like to go ahead and turn things over to our first presenter, Dynamy Internship Year.
Thank you, Andy. I am sharing right now. Let's see. We should be good. So with that, I will start there we go. So thank you everybody for joining tonight. My name is Stephanie Kozlowski. I'm the assistant or the director of admissions at Dynamy Internship Year. And I just hope to take the next 5 or 6 minutes or so just to kind of give you a quick snapshot of what Dynamy is and what we offer. So really quickly, we are a domestic gap year program. We are in Worcester, Massachusetts. We take students anywhere from 17 to 22 years old. Most of our students are about 18, 19 years old because they are coming right out of college. Right out of high school. And we do see some students that are 20, 21, 22 because maybe they kind of felt like they jumped into college a little bit too soon, or they weren't necessarily just ready yet, and they want to take a pause. The whole goal of Dynamy Internship Year is, when you think of gap years, you may be thinking of something traditional, maybe backpacking around Europe or like a language immersion program overseas. But Dynamy's domestic, and really what sets us aside in the gap world is that our focus is career exploration through professional internships and independent living. There's a lot of independent living skills in there that students will, want to build on and strengthen before they get onto a college campus. Our whole goal is to help students figure out what it is that they want to do after Dynamy, because we're really meant to be that stepping stone between high school and college for students. Dynamy students are very much college bound, but for any number of reasons, just feel they are not necessarily ready just yet. Maybe they want to pursue potential career interests. That's where our internship component comes in. Maybe they know what they want to do, but they're not necessarily feeling ready for the independence and the workload of jumping onto a college campus for 2 or 4 years just yet. And that's where the independent living component comes in. Often students are choosing Dynamy because they are feeling academically burnt out. Maybe they just want to take an academic break, focus on themselves or career interests for a year. A lot of our students we do very commonly see students with ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia. We are not an LD specific program by any means. I just think that because for the most part, even though we do offer optional college courses through Clark University, we can be an appealing option for those students because they're optional courses. And we've kind of taken, for the larger part, that academic piece off of the table for students and help them to kind of grow and learn in other ways for a structured gap year in between college. Other students, they're not sure what they want to do and they want to do some professional internships. Other reasons that students choose Dynamy is just general college readiness. We see students that want to work on skills like time management and organizational skills, all of those little skills that they're, hoping to, again, strengthen before they do end up on a college campus. These are some of our internship categories. So just to give you guys an idea of what some of the options are, we have an advantage of being in a great little city like Worcester, Massachusetts. So it's a small city, but it's still pretty big, about 250,000 people, offers our students a very wide range of internship options. This is really good for that truly undecided student. Dynamy exists because we don't expect students to have it all figured out at 17, 18, 19 years old. I don't know many, students that age that do have it all figured out. And if you do, awesome, good for you. That's great. But this is really good for students that, say they're really interested in environmental science, but they've always wanted to dabble in web design, or maybe they want to do something a little bit more experiential or hands-on and try, auto engineering or biochemical engineering or something. They have multiple interests and they really want to use these opportunities to help them kind of decide on future career options. Just moving on, because we are kind of running a little bit out of time. Students, we mimic a college academic calendar. So students can live with us in our apartments with other Dynamy students. Again, this is where that independent living comes in. Students can do, we have a traditional fall semester, traditional spring semester to, strategically mimic that college academic calendar to keep students on the academic rhythm, but also on the same kind of timetable as their peers who may be going to college. We have 3 apartment buildings. This is where students live. There is an RC at each apartment, which is kind of like a college RA or like a dorm parent. We're tucked in a great historical little pocket in the city. And again, really offers students kind of that true snapshot into the adult world, independent living and kind of living on their own, in addition to going out into the city and doing these professional internships throughout the week. In addition to that, we do offer practical skills and life skills workshops. I like to call them Adulting 101. That's how students kick off their week every week. And there is a different workshop every single week. And that's really kind of how the program works. We do offer rolling admissions. We do still have room in the fall class for students that are interested. And if you're a current high school senior, your timing's great. If you are a junior, you are eligible to apply this spring. So thanks for listening to my very quick snapshot of our program, and feel free to put questions in the chat or the Q&A. I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you so much to Dynamy internship year. And next up, we have Manhattanville College.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Let's see my video. Glad to be on tonight. So if you don't know where Manhattanville is, we are located about 25 to 30 minutes north of New York City. And we are a 4-year institution founded in 1841. We have about 1,500 students. We're a great option if you're looking for an intimate school that is also close to New York. We have a very large campus with lots of green space, also lots of opportunities to be involved in environmental sciences if that's something you're interested in. We are a very diverse community. We are also a Hispanic serving institution. So that means that we've received that designation from the federal government. And we also have more than 25% of our students that are identified as Hispanic. Obviously, you can see that we're very global for being such a small school. So it's a nice opportunity to get to know people outside of what you're used to knowing. These are all of our majors, but some of our top majors include our nursing and radiological technology program. We also have a very strong fine and performing arts division. So if you're into dance or theater or musical theater, those are some of our very strong programs, and including our STEM program, so our biology. Then a lot of our students go into nursing or into some sort of health field. One of our larger well-known programs for undergrad and for grad is our School of Education. So if you want to become a teacher, there's an option to do your bachelor's and then your master's in 5 years. And you'll see that we have a good number of 4+1 programs also in our School of Business. So lots of opportunities to study. We do have a general education core, but it's really just so that you get a taste of all the different things. And honestly, it's kind of nice to have little nuggets of information that you can sound really smart with. So I really like our general education options as well. This is our FPA program, and then our School of Nursing. So if you are interested in our School of Nursing or our radiological technology program, we do have some very specific program requirements. So I could always talk to you about that if it's something you're interested in. We also are very big on individual support. So if you do have some sort of learning disability or learning difference and you need some additional support, we have a good number of resources. In fact, we also have specific programs that you could be a part of, including our Valiant Learning Support Program or our Pathways and Connection program. But we also have just general assistance, peer tutoring. We have a writing center. We have library services. So those are available to all of our students as well. And then we also, my computer decided to freeze, but we have a large number of internship programs that are part of our experiential education program. And a good number of our majors require you to have a internship. And obviously we have athletics. We're Division III athletic school. And I believe our AD, our athletic director today just said that there are 3 or 4 of our spring sports that are actually going to be going on to play in their championship game coming up. So very exciting. And then in the winter, we actually had a good number of our teams go on to play in the championship game. So we're quite competitive. We have a good number of activities that happen on campus. We actually last weekend just had our quad jam, which is basically a weekend of activities and a large scale concert that happens on our lawn. So lots of opportunities to be involved. We have our study abroad programs. So we have direct exchange programs that are direct exchange with Manhattanville, but we also have an opportunity if you have a program that you wanted to go to that is not affiliated with Manhattanville, we can work with you on that. If you're still a senior, you can still apply. We're still accepting applications. I would encourage you to really get that in very soon since our May 1st is the deadline, but if our class does not fill or a certain program is not capped, we'll continue to receive applications and review them, but there's no guarantee that we'll have space after May 1st. And then, like I said, we do have nursing and rad tech requirements for that, and you have to have a specific above a 3.0 to even be reviewed for that program. Like I said, we're rolling admissions, but if you're a junior or sophomore and you're starting to look, we do have an early action deadline. So if you get your application in by December 1st, you'll receive your decision before the beginning of January. And then our priority deadline is March 1st. So excited to hopefully get to meet all of you, and I'll be on if you still have questions about Manhattanville.
All right, thank you so much to Manhattanville College. And next up, we have Salve Regina University.
Hello, thank you. My name is Nick Albanese. I'm a Senior Assistant Director with Salve Regina University, located on the cliffs of the Atlantic Ocean in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island. Salve Regina means Hail Holy Queen in Latin, and it's part of a Catholic prayer that the Sisters of Mercy who founded us were very fond of. The sisters have given us so many things over the years, but one of my favorites is our mission statement. The very first line that these nuns wrote decades ago was, "As a community that welcomes people of all beliefs." So off the bat, you can see that while we respect our Catholic heritage and identity, think about these nuns and the vows that they made, that we also embrace being a liberal arts university, and we don't want students that are just kind of, blindly following their faith, but students that come from a wide variety of backgrounds, religious beliefs, and so on. We also work for a world that is harmonious, just, and merciful. That's sort of our motto. And so the goal of a Salve education is to make students feel empowered to make the world around them a little bit better. The sisters have 5 critical concerns. And so these are themes that are emphasized each year. Earth and immigration, for one, nonviolence as a baseline of behavior, anti-racism. We've done a lot of work around that. We've just created our first anti-racism statement as a university, and promoting women's rights around the world. So the Sisters of Mercy advocate for these concerns and more through the United Nations and through their international work. And then their member institutions, colleges like Salve Regina, we try to teach our students about these things. We're a small university. We have just over 2,100 undergraduate students, but we have over 60 majors. So there's a lot of options. Students do not have to know what they want to study right away. The only major that is direct admit is nursing, and it's an excellent opportunity to dive into nursing. You're admitted directly to the program, and we can actually guarantee that you will finish in 4 years because we guarantee the clinical. So every healthcare facility you can think of in Rhode Island, level 1 trauma centers and the like, have spots for our nursing students. And we spent $1 million renovating our nursing labs and making those have state-of-the-art equipment. But in addition to nursing, we have very popular concentrations within the business department, things like finance, accounting, marketing, global business, and so on. Biology, chemistry, and biochemistry are fairly popular majors as well. And of course, criminal justice. But then we also have some unique programs. We have a Bachelor of Arts in dance. That was always our most popular club, so we're excited that that's a major. Probably our most unique major would be cultural and historic preservation. Those students study the built environment. So for your history buffs out there, or students that are interested in archaeology, it's a great program to be a part of. And it's in an ideal location because we are in one of the best kept historic neighborhoods in New England. We're in the Mansion District of Newport, Rhode Island. And in fact, our campus is a collection of historic properties, buildings from the 1890s, mansions, stables, carriage houses that have been renovated and turned into the residence halls and the classrooms, and then blended in with modern buildings throughout the years. So if you're watching The Gilded Age on HBO, you have an idea of what our buildings look like, that Gilded Era architecture. Students hail from all over the country as well as internationally. In fact, 85% of our students are not from the state of Rhode Island. So we very much embrace diversity at Salve, and we want our students to have a broad experience. I think another part of that is that we have an open campus, and so students feel very comfortable getting off campus, being a part of the neighborhood and the community. And about 1/3 of our students study abroad before they graduate, and every major, including nursing, has that opportunity to study abroad. But on campus, there are so many things to do and be a part of. We have 20 Division III varsity sports. We're in the sailing capital of the world, so that's a very popular sport. We also have competitive club sports like rugby, swimming, equestrian. We have over 60 student-led organizations, and more recently, we've added some affinity groups. So we have our Black Student Union, the Female Empowerment Organization, for example. We have the Pell Center for International Relations and Public Policy, which is a think tank on campus. And so students that are interested in political science or international relations, they're actually able to intern through that center and interact with speakers coming to campus from all over the world. Folks like Dr. Jill Biden, the Dalai Lama, Dr. Cornel West, and more. There's always events and activities going on, and all of our students participate in community service. Again, having that relationship and that connection to the area around us, very, very much part of that Mercy mission. Most students at Salve fall between a B+ and an A- GPA. We are fully test optional. We're on the common application. We will waive the fee for students that are outside of the Northeast. You can apply to Salve, 3 different deadlines, but nursing majors must apply by November 1. Nearly all of our students have some form of financial aid, and we really want to increase our racial and ethnic diversity on campus. So students identifying that way will automatically receive very competitive merit scholarships if they're admitted, with the opportunity to apply for additional aid that can cover up to full tuition. Check out salve.edu/visit to learn about opportunities to connect with us both in person and virtually. I'll post those links in the chat, and you can scan that QR code to find your admissions counselor, but we would love to meet with you and interact with you. Thanks so much for listening to me tonight, and I will turn it over to our next speaker.
All right, thank you so much to Salve Regina University. And next up, we have Pace University.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Juanita Maya, and I am the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admission on our New York City campus. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our university. So one of our focuses is making sure that our students are achieving their goals and their dreams while they're with us, so getting you where you want to go. And one of the ways that we do that is through the PACE path. And what is a PACE path, you might ask yourself? It's this 4-year customized plan that you create when you come to the university, your first semester in your University 101 class. That class is essentially how to be a college student course. You're going to learn things like time management and study habits and getting acclimated to city life. But one of the things that you're going to do is create this PACE path, and it's going to include all the things that you see on your screen. So do you want to be part of our mentor and advisor program? Do you want to do 1 to 5 internships? Do you maybe want to do research? And then that other important aspect of it is, do you want to have just a major, or maybe you want a double major, you want to be on one of our accelerated degrees? So what exactly is your 4 years at PACE going to look like to hopefully get you to your goal at the end of your 4 years? So part of that, as I mentioned, is the academics. So we have 6 different schools of study at the university. So we have our College of Health Professions that houses our health sciences and our nursing program, our Dyson College of Arts and Sciences that houses our performing arts, all of our natural sciences, as well as other majors like political science, criminal justice. We have our Elizabeth Hobbs School of Law that offers our students a 3-in-3 program, 3 years of undergraduate, 3 years of law school. You're done in 6 years instead of 7. Our Lubin School of Business, which offers finance, marketing, management, and more. Our School of Education, that's early childhood and adolescent majors. And then our Sennenberg School of Computer Science and Information that houses our computer science, information systems, information technology majors. So through these 6 different schools, we do offer, as I mentioned, over 100 majors available for you to choose from. With our different internship programs that we have about 8,900 internships, co-ops, practicums, field experiences that were completed this past year. And so our students are really going out there. The average student does about 4 internships while they are with us. And the statistic that you see on your screen is just proof that our students are going out there, they're doing the work to build up their resumes, and they're getting hired within 6 months of graduation. We do have 2 New York locations. So we have a location in New York City. We're located in downtown Manhattan. We're about a 5-10 minute walk from Wall Street. We have 4 dormitories on this campus. We do have about 6,000 undergraduate students on this campus and about 3,000 graduate students. And then we also have a campus up in Westchester, New York, that is about 45 minutes north of the city. This is our more traditional college campus. All of our Division II athletics are located on this campus. We do have about 3,000 undergraduate students on this campus and about 1,000 graduate students. Throughout both of our campuses, our average class size is about 20, and our student faculty ratio is 14:1. We do cap classes at around 35 because we like to have students have that one-on-one experience with the professors. If you are starting that journey and you're looking to apply to colleges, here's some of the things that you are going to need to complete your application. So first, it's going to be that application. We accept either the PACE app or the Common App, either one. We have no preference. Your official transcripts or your GED diploma. We like to see 2 letters of recommendation from our students a personal statement or essay that should be roughly around 250 to 650 words. And we are a test optional institution, so you are more than welcome to submit those SAT or ACT scores to us, but we have no preference, and it does not hurt you in any way if you do or don't submit those to us. Here are some of our important deadlines. So that FAFSA application, and we always say make sure to file your FAFSA. So that FAFSA application does open October 1st, and it has a priority deadline of November 15th. November 1st is our early decision deadline. November 15th is our early action 1, followed by our early action 2 deadlines. Typically, you hear back from those early actions and early decision deadlines about a month after. For my performing arts students, we do have that hard deadline of December 15th. So in order to move through our audition process, you will have to have applied by this date. Our nursing and regular decision deadlines are on February 15th, and then you're admitted. Hopefully you're going to come to PACE and you will submit your deposit by May 1st. I know we're all gearing up for that May 1 deposit deadline around all of the universities. So the time is here for those students this year to make that decision. We do offer our students financial aid. So $26,000 was the average amount of PACE institutional aid that we gave students this past year. This is one of the reasons why we always say file your FAFSA, because this is PACE institutional aid. And this is on top of merit scholarships as well. So we do offer all of our students merit-based scholarships based off of your GPA or your GPA and your test scores. And those are offered to you at the point of admission. And so that is all I have for you today. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll also be in the chat as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to PACE University. And next up, we have the new school.
Hi, folks. My name is Chelsea. I am an admissions counselor at the new school. I am happy to see you, have you here with me, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about what makes us such a unique university. I'm an admissions counselor at the new school, and I work pretty specifically with students applying to Parsons School of Design, which is our art design university. We also have a fantastic College of Liberal Arts and a College of Performing Arts. I'll also talk a little bit about Parsons Paris today, but the New School for Social Research and the School of Public Engagement, those are master's degrees and PhDs only. So I'll be talking mostly about our undergraduate schools. We are one super unique university located in Manhattan. We'll talk a little bit more about the location in a second. But first, I want to start with Lang. Again, this is our College of Liberal Arts, super unique, intimate class sizes. 1 to 19 is typical. What you're seeing here is a seminar style class. At Lang, we teach everything from the social sciences to contemporary dance. It's a super unique school, definitely a great place for students interested also in pursuing bachelor's to master's degree programs. At Parsons, which is our largest academic school, we are a studio-based, project-based institution. That's where you'll be in your studio working on your stuff. We're probably most well known for our fashion design program, but we also have fantastic communication design or graphic design program, fantastic fine arts institutions, and we also have a really well-known illustration program at Parsons. Our College of Performing Arts is also super unique. We have everything from individual instruments, which students can major in and study within, to studying orchestral music. We have a fantastic performer-composer program. Newest major at the School of Jazz is singer-songwriter, which is really exciting. There is an audition process that is required, you are required to go through for the College of Performing Arts. I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. We also have a campus in Paris that is a Parsons location. So some of the majors that we offer at Parsons in New York, we also offer in Paris. Super fantastic place to go to college. You can be there for all 4 years. You can apply exclusively to Parsons Paris, where tuition is quite a bit cheaper than it is in New York because of EU guidelines. You can live and study in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Highly recommend. In New York, we are located mostly in the Greenwich Village area. This is our main university center. The bottom part is studio space, different classroom spaces. On the top, that whole top part is actually a residence hall. This is a LEED Gold certified building. It renews 80% of the energy that it produces. And it's also the largest performance space in Lower Manhattan. We have a spot in there called Tishman Auditorium, which seats 800 people. There's also a catwalk that comes up out of the floor. We have a lot of fashion shows at Parsons. This building is located right on the corner of 5th Avenue and 13th Street, again, in the Greenwich Village area in New York City. We have 10,000 students at the new school from 116 different countries. We're 36% international, and at Parsons, we're just over 50% international. Students from all 50 states and a ton of different degree programs across those 5 colleges, which we just visited with together. We do have also a really exciting BA, BFA pathway, where in 5 years, you can get both a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So you could do, for example, literary studies at Eugene Lang College of Liberal Arts, and then illustration at Parsons, and go on to be a super successful children's book illustrator, for example. We also have a handful of bachelor's degrees that have master's degree components. So you can move directly from your undergraduate degree right into your graduate degree. Super exciting program as well. We have over 50 different minors at the new school, and those are across the different academic schools. So you can be a Parsons student studying fashion design, minoring in economics at Lang, or the oboe at the College of Performing Arts, right? So that's one of the benefits of being at a large institution with a lot of different majors and minors. There's a ton of different things to study and see and learn about, especially in a city like New York. Speaking of the city, most of our buildings are located right off 5th Avenue, like I said, in the Village, Greenwich Village area. Our backyard is Union Square. Neighbors right near us are NYU. Juilliard is around the corner. SVA, the School of Visual Arts, also not far from us. So there are a lot of college students in this area, a lot of artists. It's also a really well-known area for American jazz music. So there's a lot of cool history in this part of New York City. Farthest building away from the University Center, which is that building on the right-hand side, is a residence hall for freshmen that's about a 15-minute walk away. So all super accessible, easy to move around, walk around, and get to where you need to go. Quick application information: you apply under the new school for all academic programs. You might be applying to Parsons as a major specifically, but you'll apply under the new school through the Common App. You'll submit an essay where you'll tell us why you want to come to the new school. Your transcripts, Common App school report, letters of recommendation will all come from your guidance counselor or your college counselor at high school. You need 1 letter of rec from a teacher. If you're applying to Parsons, it's helpful if that's an art teacher. The portfolio, Parsons Challenge, and audition for anything else that is required for students. Some quick deadlines for you: take a little screenshot, not too different from some of the other folks who have shared here with us. And then just some contact information. If you have questions, you are welcome to send us an email. We would be very, very happy to hear from you. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much to the new school. And that was actually our final presenter for today, but we still have a little bit of time left over. So I would like to invite all of our presenters to go ahead and turn their cameras back on so we can do a little Q&A session here. So the first question I'd like to ask all of you is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and start with Dynamy again.
So I feel like our advice is going to be a little bit different than everybody else's, considering we're not your traditional academic program. We're a domestic gap year program. So I think my biggest piece of advice for students really going through any current, kind of post-secondary option process is, to be really honest with yourself about what it is that you want to do and what you want to and what those future goals are. I think it's really important for students to hear that, if you are burnt out, you're academically burnt out, you need a break, you need to do something a little bit different, but also, educational. In my opinion, it is okay to admit you're not ready for those next steps just yet. It is okay to not have it all figured out and to not know exactly what it is you want to do right away. Again, 17, 18, 19-year-olds don't commonly have it all figured out. So, just kind of be true to yourself. We see a lot of students that come to Dynamy that did go right to school, not necessarily feeling ready. And, some students do that and they do great. A lot of students do that and do great. But some of our students that we see didn't quite have that very successful college freshman experience and could have benefited from doing something a little bit different first. So that's my piece of advice, because our ultimate goal is to get you onto some of these amazing campuses that we've just seen, and then just helping you be more prepared and more mature and more confident when you do get onto those campuses. So that's my advice. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And how about Manhattanville?
So if you are planning to go more directly to college, my biggest advice in the college search process is don't close yourself off, and listen to your esteemed, people that you get your advice from. They probably know you, and probably know you a little bit better maybe than you know yourself. And so if they're saying, take a look at this school, whether it's your counselor, whether it's your parents, whether it's somebody that you just get counsel from, that's a big, they probably are thinking of your best interest. And so don't be afraid to look at schools that you haven't heard of before. And don't be afraid to go and visit schools you haven't heard of before, because there's so many great options. And I've worked at a lot of different schools before Manhattanville, a lot of different types of schools, and there's a place for everybody. And I think that's important for you to not be afraid to look at all of those.
And how about Salve, Regina?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just give sort of like a practical tip. I remember when I was looking at colleges and I would get all of this mail, and it was kind of confusing thinking, which school had this great opportunity? They had that really neat school of engineering, or they had an amazing art gallery on campus. And as you visit colleges, it gets kind of hard to keep track of everything. So I really recommend having a spreadsheet. It can be very simple in the beginning, just like the name of the institution, where it's located, and then just a notes column. Make some general notes. So if you are able to visit the campus, or even just researching it online, kind of finding out a little bit more about it. But then when you get towards senior year and you're actually building that college list, you can make a new tab, and that can be a much more detailed spreadsheet. You can have a lot of different columns with the name, the dates, the deadlines, maybe a column for passwords for student application status portals. But really importantly, have a column where you find your admissions counselor, have their contact information there, and reach out, because we are all in this because we like working with students. We want to talk to you, and we want to be able to have those conversations and help you through the process, and help you to determine if we're a good fit for you, or maybe not, and that's okay too. But stay organized and reach out.
That was amazing, Nick. I second everything that you said. You hit the nail right on the head with that one. One of the things that I always like to say is think of location. So do you want to be close to home? Do you want to be far away from home? Do you hate the cold? Obviously, if you hate the cold, New York might not be your place. If you hate being extremely hot, maybe don't go down south. So really think about location being key to part of the success that you're going to have at a university. Because if you get to New York and you're like, I hate it here, I hate the snow, I hate the cold, something you should have considered along the way, to really think about those locations. And like Christina said, visit campus. I can't stress how important it is to hopefully take that time to visit campus. I always like to suggest if you could go on a day where the campus is open and students are milling about. It's a great way to see the vibe of the university, and it's a great way to see yourself there. So you might get there, and it's so corny, and I always say it to my students, you'll have your say yes to the dress moment. You'll come in, you will look around, you'll feel the vibe, and you'll be like, yes, this is exactly where I see myself for the next 4 years. And so it really does help in making that decision of what university or college you're going to attend for the next 4 years by visiting and just really seeing yourself there.
Lucky last, me. I'll try and keep it fun. First thing I would say, don't change yourself to fit a school. These colleges are really expensive and you should not be changing your voice in your essay or how you make your art in your portfolio. The school should fit you for how much you pay for it. So don't try, if you feel like you're changing your voice in your application, don't do that. That might not be the right school for you. Second thing I'm going to say is personal experience. Consider taking time off before you go to university. It is a really hard decision to pick a university, especially in the United States. There are so many great colleges. If you need a little extra time to think about where you want to spend the next 4 years of your life, that is like so totally okay. New York City, for example, super big city, kind of can be a tough place to live and maybe not the right place for everyone. Come visit us, see if you like it, see if you can see yourself here. Last thing I would say, again, controversial, don't talk to us. Talk to the current students at the university. We are paid to tell you really good things about these schools, and we probably would anyway because we love where we work, right? But current students are the ones who really know what the vibe is like at an institution. So contact us. We can probably put you in touch with a current student who can tell you more about what the experience is like day to day. What's your schedule like? How often are you in class? How long is a class, right? All of those are going to be different depending on the type of degree that you're pursuing. If you're in an oil painting class at Parsons, it's going to be a really long class because oil paint takes a really long time to dry. That might not be something you would know if you hadn't chatted with a current student.
Very nice. Yeah, a lot of really great advice there. Kind of came full circle a little bit there too. So really nice. Next question. What's one thing that you want students to remember about your school or your program? And we'll just go ahead in the same order again, starting with Dynamy.
Sure. So for Dynamy, I would say the one thing I want students and families and educators to know is just that what the wide range of options are that we offer students. I talked a little bit about being in Worcester, and it's a small city about an hour outside of Boston, but it's a great city that offers our students such a wide range. We have just under 100 different internships that students can choose from, and they will work one-on-one with an advisor to select those internships and find that right fit. So in addition to exploring potential career interests, there's a lot that goes into that process. Advisors spend a lot of time really getting to know our students. What are their strengths? What are their challenges? What is their learning style? What type of like sponsorship or mentorship will they benefit from? Are they looking for something a little bit more structured, maybe something a little bit more independent? What's their current skill set? Have they ever had a job before? Things like that. So they're taking all of those things into consideration on top of their career exploration interests and college major interests into account when they're matching students up with potential internships. So that's really what I want people to know, that it's a very individualized process and there are a lot of options for students.
So one thing I'd like you to remember about Manhattanville, and I didn't really talk about this much in the presentation because they're quick, is that one of the things that I noticed and heard from my students, and I started at Manhattanville in December, is that they kept saying the reason why they chose Manhattanville is because they could just be themselves. They could be exactly who they are and they didn't have to change. And they felt really comfortable that they could just be themselves, and everybody is accepting of that. And so that was really important. And I've worked at a lot of schools before that, and each school will have their own theme of why students decide to go there and what makes them really excited to go there. And I just have never heard that one before. And I, maybe Chelsea has, because I think that, and maybe Pace has, because we have some similar majors and programs, but that's what I want you to remember. And I think it just goes back to the advice that we were saying, is that you want to be able to be your authentic self wherever you land. But I know that if you come to Manhattanville, you would definitely be able to be that too.
Kind of similar to what Christina was saying, Salve admits a really wide range of students. And about a quarter of our students are close to a 4.0, and we have an honors program, and we've got those students that are academically gifted and they're ready to change the world right off the bat. And then we have some other students that may even be below a 3.2 who we are able to take a chance on sometimes. And those are some of my favorite students because they really become that A average student over the years. One of those students that I have in mind, kind of came in almost like a B- average. And he's a doctor now, and he was, saving lives during COVID. And so I just think for those students out there in high school that are maybe more of like that late bloomer kind of student who do want to go right away to a four-year college and are ready for that, but who just feel like they need a college that can kind of take a chance on them, give us a look. We might be able to do that. And it's an experience that will change your life.
This one's always one of the hardest questions for me. So one of the things that I always think or want students to remember about PACE is we're all about opportunity and trying to get you the most opportunity and the most experience and the most different unique experiences that you can have in New York through your 4 years with us to hopefully get you where you want to go at the end of your 4 years, and whether that's internships, whether that's starting your own company at PACE. We had a student who you may or may not know, the company Telfar, the bag company, Beyonce, Obama's, they're all wearing those bags. He sold out left and right, and that actually started right on campus. And so he's out there living his life with Beyonce and the Obamas carrying his bags. But it's just one of those things where we do try and give our students as much opportunity as possible to hopefully get you where you want to be at the end of your 4 years.
Me again. I would say probably our commitment to civic engagement and social justice. We're a super quirky, unique school. We have every hair color that has ever existed on the face of the planet represented in our student population. We're liberal arts, fine arts, and performing arts. And we're right in the heart of New York City. So there's just a lot of super unique personalities and really fantastic students. They make us look so cool and so good, and we would not be half as cool without them. We have a student protest clause in our handbook that says if students want to go and contribute to protests in and around New York City and they have to miss class, that they won't get in trouble for doing that. We want our students to share their art in that way, to share their music in that way, to share what they're writing and reading about in that way. So if you're looking for a super unique place to be a student and to be a young person in the world, the New School and its commitment to civic engagement and social justice could be a really good fit for you.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing all that information. Lots of really, really good additional information there at the end. We are out of time though, so I do want to say thank you also to all of our presenters today for coming out and sharing your schools with us. And also thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. When you close this window, there is going to be a link to a very quick 5-question survey, and we would appreciate any feedback that you can provide. We also encourage you to check back the schedule and sign up for more sessions. We do have another one starting in about 12 minutes. And lastly, you will be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/fusion. Thanks again and have a good rest of the fair.